Okay. Hi everybody. My name is Artsem. I work for Brimit. I'm Sitecore Technology MVP. Probably it's the first meetup when I know everybody here. And today I'm gonna to share what's new in Sitecore 9.3. It was released not so long time ago. And is there anybody who have already installed it? Sitecore 9.3. Okay. Not bad. So as usual, we start our project with Sitecore installation, and everybody know that we already have some graphic interface which was released with Sitecore 9.2. So it's just the wrapper for the sieve, and it still uses the same JSON files and PowerShell to install Sitecore, but we can configure it using some text boxes, and so in easier way than just edit the JSON files. In Sitecore 9.3, this graphic interface also allows us to install Solar. By the way, Solar 8.1.1, so it's first Solar instance in my local environment already. Another thing that is new in Sitecore 9.3 is optional modules where we can just choose SXA and it will be installed along with Sitecore in the same time. Additional feature, now we can choose where we want to install our environment. This option is available only when you install Sitecore using the sieve. We can choose it using the graphic interface. Probably we can edit some configs for the graphic interface, but it is impossible out of the box. But if you use sieve, you are able to choose where you want to install your instance. Let's say we installed our Sitecore and we have probably three choose how to build our environment, build our solution using some out-of-the-box stuff provided by Sitecore. I will not go into details which and where approach to choose, just want to mention what's new for each of them in Sitecore 9.3. When we choose some custom solution, there is some upgrades and improvements. Some obsolete functionality removed from Sitecore, like Lucent search provider and velocity, replaced deprecated SQL data types. Some improvements applied for Xconnect. Currently, performance improved for the web tracker, and it saving expired session to Xconnect in batches, which decreases number of requests and interactions. New interaction aggregation pipeline that handles batches of interactions. Minor changes in my point of view in experience editor. Navigation and control bars are now available by default, enabled by default. And X-Exploring property is added to the page mode, which indicate when the page is in exploring mode. Improvements for the reporting and some performance improvement achieved by reducing the number of calls and reduce the amount of data which is saved. Sitecore Experience Accelerator, how many of us use it? Okay. Sitecore fully new feature, as far as I understand. So I've never seen the scriben. Correct me if I pronounce it wrong. But Sitecore provided some modern and fast and highly extensible template engine, which is based on Scriben, which is open source, and it also provides some extension for Visual Studio Code to syntax highlight, and it makes rendering faster and time decrease the time of rendering. New components are added and improved for this SXA search. Now we have the aggregated facet filter and facet summary. For example, we just choose green. The results is updated. The number of filters is reduced, and then we can choose, for example, big, and we have some summary where we can clear our filters in one click or remove some of them. And probably the last major feature which was released with Sitecore 9.3 is fully decoupled front-end. So Sitecore changed the approach for front-end developers, how to build the SXA solutions, and they provided some creative exchange live teaming tool, which is npm packages, and now front-end developers can use some GSS style team creation just using the command line. I can't say that it's maybe really comfortable, but maybe for somebody. And last thing, that SXA JavaScript APIs is fully documented now. Some changes for Sitecore JavaScript services. Now you can build your JSS app on your local environment, and you can connect to the external, some dedicated server, Sitecore server, using tunnel. So it's allow you build your front-end part on non-Microsoft environments like MacBook, and still be able to debugging your GSS app in connected mode. So you don't need to have the Sitecore on your laptop, and you can still work with GSS. Horizon also was released along with Sitecore 9.3. Horizon is a next generation editing environment. It's new editing interface, which probably will replace the experience editor in the future. Now we can use it, and now it just contains some basic stuff and features, much more less than experience editor have, but Sitecore are going to increase and evaluate the Horizon. It is how the new, let's say, experience editor looks like. I will make some short demo at the end of the presentation, but the Horizon is like, you can see just your pages in the tree. You can't edit some templates, settings, media library here. You can upload images to the media library, but you don't see it in the tree. It's editing mode, and then you have some so it's still editing mode. this image show how we can choose the images for the data sources. Also, we have some preview page where we can see how our page will look on the mobile devices, and also we can choose any date. If you have maybe some personalization based on the dates, you still can preview how your website will look in when some personalization rules will be applied. And also we can see the statistic for each page. Just clicking on the, so I don't have the pointer, this icon, you can see how many visits you have on your page and other statistic. Now I'm going to go through some improvements and new features which is related with analytics, personalization, and optimization. And so now we can measure effectiveness of personalization instances without starting an explicit personalization test. We just need to tick a checkbox when you choose your personalization, and Sitecore will immediately start to measure the effectiveness for your setup of personalization and rules. New optimization dashboard, experience optimization dashboard was provided, and where you can see overall, so all personalization results on the same page. Some new feature for marketing automation users. Now we can define some rules based on the date and time, and it will be used as a criteria to the entry in the enrollment plan. And so we can set up automation plan and configure it based on the certain time of day, certain day of the week, and a given date itself. Sitecore 9.3 released with some new feature for EXM. Some template manager was updated, and new templates are available for EXM, and so they rebuild it, and it makes much more easy to build new emails for content managers and marketers people. Also, Sitecore released a fully new Sitecore AI service, which is used to automation personalization. So it is not related with Cortex. It's a new feature. You just pay for the service, choose any components on your website that you want to be auto-personalized, add the content, and Sitecore do the personalization itself. You don't need to set up some segments, user segments, and nothing. Just choose and configure your Sitecore AI service, and personalization will work automatically. And a few new things for Sitecore forms. Now we have the confirmation email and file uploads elements, which was not available before. Now Sitecore Forms uses platform bot detection, and so we don't need to use the CAPTCHA anymore. Bot detection will verify if the data are coming from the human. Now we have additional submit action. We can redirect the user to the external URL and pass data from the fields to the URL, like a query string. we can publish our forms directly from the forms editor. It was not possible before. And finally, some highlights. So some of them I already mentioned. But the performance of reference service has been improved. So as far as I know, reference service was fully rebuilt and it has much more better performance. The performance of session state providers has been improved by optimizing the amount of data that is saved to the session state. Some improvements in GDPR. Now when we apply some right to be forgotten, it fully removes all interactions, all facets for interactions, and all facets for the contact. So is exploring property already mentioned, and Sitecore 9.3 already support Windows Server 2019, and maybe the update. So we have added Sitecore added the Sitecore brand logo to the Sitecore installation assistant. So sorry, not now. Probably okay. I want to show how Horizon looks like. So I have to say that it is site specific, and actually we can see that the current site in the URL, and we can't switch between different sites right now. So it's some stuff that Sitecore working on now. You can just define it here, as well as language. So Sitecore documentation says that we need to update the language in the URL if you want to manage another language. So now we can create a new page right from here. Maybe it makes sense to reload first. Okay, create a new page, just choose a template, let's say about. So the new page already created, some text. So also we don't need to save our changes now, it saves automatically, no save button anymore. And then if you want to add new rendering, we click at add to page. There is a list of available renderings appear in this side, but now I have only one. Then I just can drop down it and drag and drop here. We have one more. All data source configuration appear on the right side, and same with workflow. So we can add new page, so it works really fast. Let's back to the home. Something about the emulation. We can see the default Sitecore page is not mobile oriented. Statistic. I don't have any visits on my page. And we can see the statistic per device, so it's also useful sometimes. It looks pretty good. That's all. Any questions?
Can you manage a list of devices in the remote, or I see on the iPad and iPhone? Is it predefined list, or can I?
It seems like predefined. I didn't find any ability to manage it right now. I may be wrong. I didn't work with it a lot, so just some research purpose. I just click and see it. Also, I didn't show one thing, just forgot. When we install the Horizon, it's appear in the launch part as a icon, and we can always redirect the Horizon. We don't. So it's set up just like a separate web app. I mean Horizon, and so it's not related with the number of devices.
You know how much effort will cost to support Horizon together with content editor and experience editor? If
No.
you have a chance, I'm just curious because there are a lot of useful possibilities missing in Horizon. For example, I didn't see any ability to manage publishing restrictions, for example.
Yeah, I agree. So as I said, it's just the basic stuff that they just released, and they will improve the functionality with every release in the future, I suppose. So probably it's not the right time to switch to the Horizon, but it's the speed of work much more. So it's much more faster than Experience Editor. So I'm ready to use it.
Also regarding Horizon, so basically, could you switch to Horizon?
Sure.
So basically, I mean, on page. So basically, how it can be configured? How can I put here my custom page?
It's only insert option.
Insert option, but here the root item is home, where it, where it can be configured. Just providing other root instead of just a regular Sitecore content. Because in case of SXA, you have a tenant, so basically, and for multiple sites, it can be different.
So as far as I know, Horizon already supported the SXA, and probably we can try later how it will look with the SXA tenant. But I'm not sure that you can create some not really page-related items in Experience Editor too. So it's just for editing your pages. So it's not about working with all Sitecore 3. So it's just for the content editors, and probably content editor shouldn't see anything else, only the pages. So it's probably the idea, but all this stuff are customizable using Sitecore host. You just can implement some plugins, and it renders. You can render any custom logic and any custom component for any place on this page. So every control is a separate feature that can be unloaded or replaced with some custom code. So it's pretty configurable, but probably is the topic for separate presentation.
Yeah, I'm just curious how much work should be done to render any button and with any custom code which will execute any sync with third-party service, any import, something like that. But that doesn't suppose then there is possibility to duplicate, move to copy page.
I don't think so, but we can try. No, it doesn't work.
Windows page rename and delete. No possibility.
No, not now.
Possible to, for example, edit frame on page to this Horizon supported. Yeah, for example, if I want to manage list of items, like what can be done in Spirit.
I don't think it's supported right now. In documentation, mentioned some basic components like images, text, but nothing else.
But is it possible to configure personalization for the company? No?
A lot of question. I can provide you access.
I'm new inside. So.
Beginner. I'm too. I can't say. I can't. Come on. Where is glasses? Assign content item. Okay. Oh. I did something, but I don't know what I did. Okay, let's play it afterwards.
So a couple of questions from my side. So first question is, in the first version of the Sitecore's installation assistant, we know that it supports only single topology for development instance. So what about the new version? Is it possible to create a scaled environment?
I saw the configuration allow us to set up some single environment and XM topology, but I didn't see any ability to set up some scaled environment. But as far as I know, using Sieve, now we can control if we need to set up databases, for example, for the instance that you are installing now. So it makes probably a bit easy to set up some CD servers when you don't need to create a whole number of databases for some servers that. So when we have one CD server, we don't need to set up the same databases for the second CD server. So and it's the probably good improvement from the Sitecore in this term. But I don't think we need, and it's a good idea to use some installation assistant for the scaled environment in general.
I think you should enough just change role web config, like a role is just standalone, just change to CM, or sorry, content management or content delivery.
Probably it will do.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is, you mentioned that there are a couple improvements and new stuff relates to SXA and JSS separately.
Yes.
But we know that Sitecore in the previous version delivered for us possibility to use together Sitecore plus JSS. Any updates in this stuff? Because right now we have some restrictions, so it's not possible to use SXA plus JSS, for instance, seems, what else? I'm not sure.
It is a good question if you can use SXA plus JSS plus SXA. So I saw, and as far as I know, we can use SXA with JSS, so or JSS with SXA. I don't know.
Yeah,
so it was the image. I saw the image with JSS plus SXA tenants. So there are just different tenants. And
it was shipped in a previous version. What about
the same. So nothing new in this. So.
And just the third last question, probably.
Okay.
Have you heard about resharding tool? It relates to Xconnect. You just mentioned that there are a few improvements, but Sitecore really has a great job. The new version was shipped by also that the Sitecore provide for us a new sharding tool. It's possible to have more than 2 shards in a SQL. Have you heard?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible you can have maximum 18 shards.
Right now in this tool.
Yes. But it's a Microsoft tool as far as I know. Yeah.
Only thing.
Because yesterday I saw the documentation guided. So basically it was mentioned that maximum can be 18 shards. So in this tool responsible to just move shards from just because by default it's 2 shards, shard 0, shard 1, and you reviewed everything and just split it to shards.
Only thing that I know, and which is related with shards, that Sitecore updated the collection database. They added the column for the shard ID or shard name. I don't remember. So probably it's also related with the number of shard. Any other question? Cool. Thank you. Я дам.